Don't we all kind of want an extra boost of happiness, you know? Maybe even toss in some better health while we're at it. And hey, who wouldn't want a little extra good fortune?
I know, I wouldn't say no to any of that.
Right. Well, get this, gratitude journaling might actually be the secret weapon we've been overlooking.
Interesting.
We're diving deep into an excerpt today. It's from The Law of Attraction and Gratitude Journaling, a deep dive.
Okay, I'm listening.
The law of attraction basically says that like attracts like. So the more you focus on the positive, the more good stuff you bring into your life.
Okay, but how does gratitude journaling fit into all of that?
Yeah. And what about those of us who, well, maybe aren't totally sold on the whole mystical vibe? What's in it for us?
That's what I'm curious about too.
First things first, what exactly is gratitude journaling?
It's pretty straightforward, actually. It's just about having a dedicated space, a journal, an app, anything really, where you make a point of writing down things you're grateful for.
So it's not enough to just, like, think about it. Why the emphasis on writing it down?
Writing it down makes it more concrete. It takes it from being a fleeting thought to something you've actively acknowledged.
Makes sense. But the source talks about some pretty big claims, like raising your vibrational energy. What's that all about?
Okay, yeah, vibrational energy can sound a little out there.
Just a bit.
But think about it this way. When you're feeling grateful, you're usually in a more positive state,
Yeah.
right? It's like
Yeah.
you're radiating a different kind of energy, and that can definitely affect how you interact with the world and how you see things around you.
So it's less about like mystical forces and more about how our emotions shape our experiences.
That's how I see it.
I can get behind that. But the source also mentions rewiring our brains. Now that sounds pretty intense.
It is intense. In a good way, though.
Hmm.
You see, our brains are incredibly adaptable.
Oh yeah, neuroplasticity, right.
Exactly. And there are studies that actually show that focusing on gratitude strengthens the neural pathways that are connected to positive emotions. And it reduces activity in the areas of the brain linked to stress and negativity.
So it's like we're literally training our brains to be more positive.
You got it.
I'm really liking this. What else does the source say about how this all works?
Well, it emphasizes that gratitude journaling can help you believe in manifestation more.
Okay, how so?
Well, when you're constantly acknowledging all the good things that are already in your life, you're building up this foundation of trust that the universe or, whatever higher power you believe in is actually working in your favor.
Okay, I can see that. But I'm a pretty practical person. How do I actually start with this gratitude journaling thing?
Well, the source really stresses making it easy and figuring out what works best for you. You can pick a time, morning, evening, your lunch break, whenever feels right. The most important thing is consistency. Don't make it another chore on your to-do list.
That's a relief to hear. So once I've got my time, what do I actually write about? I don't want to just be staring at a blank page.
Don't worry. The source has some great advice for that. First off, be specific. Instead of just saying, I'm grateful for my family, try something like, I'm grateful for my sister's crazy sense of humor, or I'm grateful that my dad always knows how to make me laugh. It's those details that really bring it to life.
I like that. It makes it much more personal, too. Anything else that can make an entry super effective.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget about your feelings. The source makes a point of highlighting how your emotions can actually amplify the effect of gratitude. So really connect with how something makes you feel. Joyful, loved, peaceful. Let those emotions come through in what you write.
So it's not just about listing things out. It's about actually feeling the gratitude. Okay, I'm starting to get the picture here. But I think a lot of people listening might be wondering, like, what specific things should I be writing about? Can we jump into some examples?
Absolutely. Let's take a look at some of the examples that source gives us.
Perfect. I'm ready to be inspired.
So there's this one example in the source that talks about finding gratitude in those little everyday things. Like that first cup of coffee in the morning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can relate to that.
You can actually be grateful for all sorts of things about it. How it tastes, how it makes you feel, even the energy it gives you to get your day started.
It's the little things, right? What about when you achieve something big, though? Does the source talk about that, too?
Oh, absolutely. It talks about celebrating those wins, no matter how big or small they seem.
I like that.
Like finishing a really tough project at work, or finally figuring out that new skill you've been working on. Those are definitely things worth acknowledging in your gratitude journal.
Yeah, it's like giving yourself credit for all the effort you put in, right?
Exactly. And you know what I find really interesting?
What's that?
The source actually encourages finding gratitude in the tough stuff too, the challenges.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it gives this example of being Grateful for a difficult conversation you had to have
Hmm.
because it helped you learn to communicate more honestly.
Okay, I can see that, like reframing challenges with gratitude to help you grow from them.
It's all about shifting your perspective, right? Instead of
Uh-huh.
dwelling on all the negative stuff, you're focusing on the opportunity to learn and grow.
So, our listeners are always looking for ways to connect these ideas back to their own lives, and I
Yeah.
know a lot of them are super focused on learning and personal growth. Are there any specific benefits of gratitude journaling that you think would really resonate with them?
That's what's so cool about all of this. Studies have shown that gratitude can actually boost your performance and make you more productive.
Wait, seriously?
Seriously. People who practice gratitude regularly tend to be way more engaged with their work.
Yeah.
They're better at setting goals and bouncing back from setbacks.
Wow. So, it's not just about feeling good, it can actually help you achieve more.
It totally can. Gratitude kind of creates this awesome feedback loop.
Okay. How so?
Well, you're more motivated, more focused, and you're not as likely to get bogged down by those inevitable challenges that come up.
I can definitely see how that would be a total game changer, especially for people who are constantly trying to learn and grow. What about the folks out there who are really focused on relationships? Does gratitude play a role there?
Big time. Gratitude can be a real secret weapon when it comes to relationships. When you make a habit of practicing gratitude, you start to become more in tune with all the positive things about the people in your life.
Oh, like what?
Their kindness,
Yeah.
the way they support you, their unique contributions to your life, all that good stuff.
It's like shifting your focus from what's missing to what you already have.
Exactly. And you know what? When you express that gratitude to other people directly, it makes the connection even stronger. It creates this awesome cycle of appreciation and positive reinforcement.
So it's not just a solo practice, it can actually impact your relationships with others too. That's really cool.
It really is. It's like you're spreading the gratitude vibe.
I love that. Okay, let's be real for a second. I know that some people might be a little hesitant about this whole law of attraction thing.
I get it.
It can sound kind of woo-woo, even to me sometimes.
Totally. But here's the thing. Even if you're not 100% on board with the whole idea of like manifesting your desires, the principles behind gratitude journaling are still super valuable.
So it's a win-win, basically. If the law of attraction works for you, great. But even if you're coming at it from a more practical standpoint, there are still real benefits.
You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
You're creating a more positive mindset, building resilience, strengthening your relationships. All of those things add up to a happier and more fulfilling life.
Love that perspective. It takes the pressure off, don't you think?
For sure. It lets you just focus on the good stuff.
Okay, so we've covered a lot here. For those who are ready to give this a shot, what are the key takeaways they should remember?
Well, the big one is just to make it easy on yourself.
Right. Don't overcomplicate it.
Choose a time that works for you. Morning, before bed, during lunch, whatever fits into your routine.
It's all about consistency.
Exactly. And you don't have to write a novel every day. Just let those grateful thoughts flow.
But to make it really stick, the source suggests getting specific. Yeah.
Yeah, that's key. Instead of just saying, I'm grateful for my family, try, I'm grateful for my mom's awesome laugh, or I'm grateful that my dad always tells the best jokes. Little details like that make it way more vivid and personal.
And don't forget to connect with those emotions. How does each thing on your list make you feel happy, loved, appreciated?
That's it. Let those feelings flow into your writing. And most importantly, have fun with it. It's about creating a practice that brings you joy and helps you appreciate all the abundance that's already in your life.
Nicely said. So, to wrap it up, gratitude journaling is a pretty simple but powerful tool.
For sure.
Whether you're trying to boost your mood, make your relationships stronger, or dive into the law of attraction, this practice has something to offer everyone.
I'd encourage our listeners to approach this with an open mind and a little bit of curiosity. You might be surprised by how much simply acknowledging the good in your life can really change things.
Now that's an inspiring thought. But before we wrap things up entirely, I want to leave our listeners with a little something to think about as they get started with their own gratitude journeys.
I like it. Something to spark their imagination, right?
Exactly. What if simply noticing the good things in your life actually help bring more good things your way? What if, by focusing on gratitude, you opened yourself up to a whole world of possibilities you never even knew were there?
I love that. And I, for one, am super excited to hear what our listeners discover.
Me too. And remember, even if you can only find one tiny thing to be grateful for each day, that's still a reason to smile.
It's kind of wild how Just shifting our focus to the things we appreciate can have such a big impact on our
It
lives.
really is, right?
There's that quote, gratitude turns what we have into enough. Something like that.
Oh, I like that one. It really gets at the core of the law of attraction, doesn't it? Focusing on abundance instead of always feeling like you're missing something.
Exactly. But even if you're not totally convinced about that whole thing, there's still something powerful about just appreciating what we already have, you
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
I mean, when we approach life with a grateful heart, don't you think we start to see opportunities and blessings that were always there?
Yeah, totally. We just weren't paying attention before.
Right. It's like we're suddenly wearing these special gratitude glasses that help us filter out all the negative stuff and really see the good more clearly.
Oh, I love that analogy.
And the more we wear those glasses,
Uh-huh.
the easier it becomes to see the world in that positive light.
It becomes a habit almost.
Exactly. So it's not about pretending that everything's perfect or ignoring the challenges we face. It's more about choosing to focus on the good, even when things are tough.
Makes sense. Gratitude doesn't magically erase all the hard stuff, but it gives us the strength to get through it, right?
You got it. It gives us resilience and helps us face those challenges with more grace and optimism. There's another quote.
Hmm.
Hold on, it'll come to me. Ah, yes. Gratitude is the antidote to fear.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's so true, though, right? When we're totally consumed by worry and fear, it's almost impossible to see any possibilities.
You get tunnel vision.
Exactly.
Yeah?
But gratitude,
Yeah.
it opens our hearts and minds. It gives us a wider perspective
Mhm.
and helps us find hope and even joy in those unexpected places.
That's such a powerful message for our listeners. We all know that life has its ups and downs, but gratitude can equip us to weather those storms and maybe even find moments of beauty along the way.
And that's what makes gratitude journaling so amazing. It's a tool we can use every single day to build that inner strength and shift our perspective to something more positive.
It's like a daily dose of optimism, straight to your heart.
I like that.
Well, I think we've given our listeners a lot to chew on today. We explored the science behind how gratitude actually changes our brains, went over some practical tips for getting started with a gratitude journal, and even touched on that whole intriguing idea of the law of attraction.
And most importantly, I hope we've inspired our listeners to actually give it a try.
Me too. Even a few minutes each day can make a real difference.
Couldn't agree more.
So to all our awesome listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into gratitude journaling. We hope you learned something new today, and we hope you're feeling fired up to cultivate more gratitude in your own lives.
And remember, the world is bursting with reasons to be grateful. We just have to be open to seeing them.
Beautifully said. And that's a wrap on today's episode.